Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching episode 2 of my mystery monthly minis. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to episode 2 of my mystery monthly minis. If you've already seen episode 1, then you know how this works and you can skip straight forward to the tasting. If you haven't seen it before, the way this works is I have 150 samples in my sample collection. These are samples that have been sent to me by people. These are part of tasting packs. These are things I've bought, miniatures or otherwise, and I'm just not getting around to drinking them. So my wife has kindly picked them at random. She's put one in this blue Glencairn glass to make it more difficult, and I'm gonna nose it, I'm gonna taste it, I'm gonna tell you if I like it, and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. Should we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. Right, so if you want to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Right, so I'm getting toffee, brown sugar. It's quite sweet, but I'm not sure if there's lots of fruitiness there. Interesting. This has only been airing for about 5 minutes, so maybe getting a hint of caramel now. Maybe red apples. That fruitiness could be from a sherry or a wine. I think those apples are turning into like baked apples maybe. A little bit malty. Not sure what it is at this stage, but my initial guess would be Scotch. Let's have a sip. Very malty, lots of cereal. It's lingering on the palate really, really strongly. I think it's quite high ABV. I think it's quite malty. It's fruity. I think there's some sort of fruit or wine. It's really making me salivate, which makes me believe it definitely is a high ABV. But there's a character to it that is familiar, but I'm not sure what. I could be miles off if I have a stab, but yeah, it's quite malty. Maybe maybe something like a Campbelltown or a Highland whiskey. Let's have another sip. Yeah, I definitely think there's some sort of wine influence, wine, fortified wine, possibly even sherry, but there's a little bit of me. And I know I've done this a lot, especially with blind tastings. A little bit of me thinks there's some Macmura, some Swedish influence. There's a really, really noticeable flavour. But the problem is when you taste so many whiskies, sometimes they can sort of like blur into one and the brain's just not working. It really is familiar, but I'd say it's quite pleasant. I wouldn't say it's making me think anything special, but it's quite nice. There's definitely a fruitiness to it, which is nice. It's a little bit short. With that fruitiness, that sort of stops quite quickly once you've swallowed it, and that maltiness carries on. It's got quite a long finish. There's a little bit of heat, Quite malty though. I think I'd probably lean towards a Scotch. Wine finished. ABV, let's go with 48 to 50. But yeah, it's quite pleasant. It's yeah, it's not going to knock socks off anything, but it's one I keep drinking, and yeah, might even buy if the price was right. But should we find out what's in the glass? Okay, so this is the Lakes, the Whiskey Makers Reserve number 3, and it was sent to me by Bert Smedley. And he'd be quite impressed that I'm actually tasting this in a blue glass. Funnily enough, I did taste this whiskey only last week, and obviously that's where I picked up the familiarity. But yeah, I definitely didn't put 2 and 2 together and think that this was an English whiskey by the Lakes. Yeah, I think Whiskey Makers Reserve number 2 was my favourite on the night. But this was definitely one I did like. It's quite a nice whiskey. It's definitely one that I'd drink again, and I'd probably buy if the price was right. And yeah, there's not much more I can say. If you like this sort of thing, then come back for more. I do this on the last Friday of every month, and if you'd rather know what's in my glass before and have some maybe more accurate tasting notes, then just check out my channel every week for normal tastings. See you then. Slauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.